Hi, everybody. It's Gloria again, the Energy Elf from Brooklyn, Hants County, Nova Scotia. A blustery Brooklyn. My, it's been quite a day here, hasn't it? Tonight, I'm going to read you about the adventures with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I imagine he's looking down and thinking, wow, gonna have a pretty easy ride this year if the snow keeps on coming. Anyway, let's get started. This book was written by Sally Snyder and illustrated by Michael Bayouth. And it's a very special book. Because remember, I think I've told you that elves are real people. Most of them, anyway. They're just people who love Christmas and like to bring joy to people's lives. And many years ago, I had a little boy, and this book was written for him. It's called My Adventures with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Can you see that? Oh, do you look up there? It says it's just 11 days until Christmas. Wow. Anyway, let's get started. All the stars were twinkling brightly in the dark blue sky. Boys and girls everywhere were snug in their beds, dreaming about candy canes and gingerbread, toys and packages with bright ribbons. It was almost Christmas, and Santa Claus would soon be visiting. Joshua was sound asleep. Suddenly he heard something strange. Right there in the room was a little reindeer with a shiny red nose. "Don't be afraid," said the reindeer. "It's I, Rudolph. Santa said your birthday is October 10, which means you are just the boy to help me." "You see," Rudolph explained, "Santa's list is missing." Can you imagine? It's very important. Without the list, we don't know where to take the toys this Christmas. The teddy bears are all worried. They're afraid they won't find a little boy or girl to love. There can't be a Christmas without love. I promised all the toys that I would find the list. Will you help me? "I'll help you," said Josh. "I'm sure the list isn't here," Rudolph said. "I guess we'd better go to the North Pole." "Can I bring my friend Jeffrey?" asked Josh. "And Tippy too?" "Sure," said Rudolph. "We need all the help we can get. We need some Christmas magic to help us fly to the North Pole. Let's see. Do you believe in Santa Claus? You do, don't you? Well then, I think that's enough Christmas magic to start us on our journey." "Hop on my back and hold on tight," Rudolph said, as his nose got very bright. Off they flew, right out the window and across the starry sky. Rudolph, Josh, Jeffrey, and Tippy headed right towards the brightest star in the sky, the North Star. They looked down at Josh's street. Then, before you could say jingle bells 3 times, they were right in front of Santa's workshop. That must have been a fast trip. All the lights were on, and there were lots of sounds coming from inside. "The elves are very busy finishing the toys for Santa," Rudolph explained. "Let's ask them if they've seen Santa's list." They opened the door and looked into the workshop. There were all kinds of toys waiting to be taken to all the good boys and girls. There were bicycles, dolls, planes, trains, cuddly toys, and lots more. The elves had been very busy. One of the elves was very busy painting a bright yellow rocking horse. He looked up when Rudolph and his friends came in. "We're looking for Santa's list," Rudolph explained. "Have you seen it?" "Oh, no," said the elf. "All I've seen is lots of paint. Look at all the colors. I'm sure Santa's list isn't here. Why don't you ask the music box elves?" Rudolph listened carefully and could faintly hear music. The music led them right into a room full of music boxes. There were music boxes with tiny ballerinas springing on top and little merry-go-rounds with horses bobbing up and down. There are different tunes coming from each box. Excuse me, Rudolph said loudly. We're trying to find Santa's list. I can hear you just fine, said the elf with a chuckle. The list isn't here. Try asking the drum makers. Sounds like my kind of place, 'cause I love music. Boom, 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 rat-a-tat-tat. Boom, 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 rat-a-tat-tat. Dear me, said Rudolph, this room is even louder. I don't think Santa could have left his list in here. Let's look in a more quiet place. Then they saw all the soft, cuddly toys. Over in one corner, all the teddy bears were gathered. Not one of the bears was smiling. We're so worried, said the little teddy bear. It's almost time to get into Santa's sleigh. Nobody has found Santa's list, and we don't know which little boy or girl asked for us this Christmas. A great big teddy bear tear dropped down his cheek. Don't cry, we'll find it, Rudolph said. Let's go and ask Mrs. Claus. Maybe Santa left the list there in Mrs. Claus's kitchen. You know, her gingerbread cookies are Santa's favorite. Wonderful smells of ginger and cinnamon filled the kitchen. Mrs. Claus was very busy putting icing on the gingerbread houses. All along one shelf, gingerbread cookies were standing in a line. There were gingerbread boys and girls, gingerbread bells and stars, and even some gingerbread reindeer. Rudolph liked those best. Oh, Rudolph, Mrs. Claus called, have you found Santa's list? No, we haven't, replied Rudolph. We thought Santa may have left it here. Oh dear, said Mrs. Claus, it isn't here. But please take a warm gingerbread cookie with you, and good luck. Thank you, they chimed. Don't worry, we'll find Santa's list. Outside the kitchen, they found themselves in a room filled with candy canes. It was very cool and smelled like peppermint. Peppermint candies were hanging everywhere, ready to be hung on Christmas trees. Rudolph said, let's take a candy cane before we check the Christmas tree. They're going to be full, aren't they? The Christmas tree was beautifully decorated with lots of colorful lights and ornaments. Look at all the sparkling colors, said Josh. There are blue and green and red and yellow and orange, but no list. The elves were starting to load Santa's sleigh for the special night. They loaded all the wonderful toys they'd worked on all year. Santa will be leaving soon, said Rudolph. We've got to find the list in a hurry. Where else can we look? Asked Rudolph. We've looked everywhere. Rudolph was so sad that his nose was barely a red glow. Suddenly Josh said, I know. Let's check one more place. Follow me. Rudolph and Jeffrey quickly followed Josh. Tippy followed too. Rudolph and the children found themselves in Santa's mailroom, surrounded by stacks and stacks of letters. All of the letters started with, Dear Santa. How can we ever find a list among all of these letters? Rudolph thought. They looked around the room. There were lots of letters from Brooklyn. Just then Josh spotted something on Santa's desk. Here it is! Here it is! Here it is! Josh picked up the missing list from underneath Santa's glasses. Santa must have left it here when he was reading his letters, exclaimed Jeffrey. Rudolph's nose shone brightly. The happy group found Santa sitting near his sleigh. The teddy bears were getting worried, said Santa. Did you find the list? Yes, said Rudolph, thanks to my new friends. Ho, 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 said Santa. I knew you could do it. The teddy bears danced for joy. Josh found the list where Santa had left it, said Rudolph. The elf shouted, Hooray for Josh! Thank you, Santa said. Without Josh and Jeffrey and Tippy, we wouldn't have had a very Merry Christmas now, would we? Your names are going to get a special star on my list. Rudolph was so proud. We've got to get you home to Canada. You'll have presents to open, too. Josh and Jeffrey and Tippy hopped in the sleigh with Santa. Ho, 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 said Santa as they glided on their way. Rudolph's nose glowed the brightest ever. Can you imagine? Christmas is really a magic time, isn't it? Okay, let's see what's in the magic mirror tonight. And Santa dropped off, well, actually, it came by courier today, a red phone, but I don't know what that's about. Maybe one of these nights we'll find out. Let's see. Oh, here it comes. I guess the snow isn't bothering the text messaging system. I really don't understand all of this. I Aren't we lucky Santa keeps up with technology? And he still uses the good old-fashioned ways too, like letters and smoke signals. And remember what I told you last night? He can even read your breath. So what is Santa saying tonight? He's saying, oh, you're right. You're right. Rudolph is getting excited. I told him to watch those cars down there because I wanted him to see what could happen if he just gets a little too excited and puts his hoofs, too hard on the gas. I didn't think that Santa had gas in his sleigh. Well, I'm just trying to get him to slow down, he said. You know, if he just would take it easy, we will make it around the world in one night. But if he goes too fast and the load shifts, we're going to have an awful mess. And what if the tags fall off of everything? So I told him, you just look down there. See what happens when you get in too much of a hurry? Oh, and you were over by Falmouth. And you peeked in the window and you saw Ian. And he was being a good boy. And then you come out through Garland's Crossing, huh? And Ayla was being good to her baby brother Evan. You've been making notes, haven't you, Santa? Oh, my. He said he actually turned around and decided to take the other old highway, and he flew over. No, he said, oh, that reminds him. He flew over Panuke Lake there a few weeks ago, and it looked like there was a lot of good cheer in some of those cabins. He says to thank Daryl and Darren for letting all the deer run, because sometimes they turn into reindeer, and he needs all the reindeer reinforcements he can get. So thank you for just watching them run away. And he hopes that you keep the good cheer all through the season. And who else is he looking for? Oh, he said he took a little spin over Cape Breton. Who did he see up there? Oh, he watched some very talented girls at their dance recital. He says, oh, I can't remember their names. Maybe I will before Christmas. Oh, and now he's saying, you get to bed. You've got a busy day tomorrow. You've got lots of company coming. Have fun, and maybe you'll be able to recruit some helpers. He said he's looking forward to tomorrow night's story. He's saying, sleep tight, make big snowmen, stay away from the roads, and remember that cars can't stop very fast on slippery roads, so make sure you stay well back. And then he gave us some kisses and hugs. Isn't that nice? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Santa told me to go to bed, so I'm going to have to say goodnight to everybody, or good morning, and we'll see you tomorrow. And maybe I will be able to recruit somewhere else tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Night.